He goes, Mr. Trump, this is George Janko and Shawna Del Rica. In my heart, I'm like, all right, George, like, how are you going to introduce yourself to get Donald Trump on your show? As I'm shaking his hand, bro, Charlie Kirk just slides right in between us. He goes, Mr. President, this gentleman is named George Janko, and man, does he have an excellent show. A lot of people admire the way he speaks. That should be something that you should be a part of. I just
pass out.
I literally, this might be bad.
Oh no.
I literally go, and like chess caught me slipping, pulls me in, does the pull thing, caught me off guard, pulls me in. I go, no. I go, oh God.
I'm just playing, I don't fight, I do pray. I only go the way of Mr. Yahweh.
It's not often I sit down with somebody and they say something that makes me think.
Bro, this was great.
I love you guys.
But you give me something to think about.
My own damn way.
I had a lot of fun on this interview.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. This episode is dear to my heart. I actually waited for a Boys and Bell episode for a very long time.
Welcome back.
The last episode we did was like the John Bellion, and then we just started just guests only.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First of all, how have you guys been?
So good.
It's been pretty wonderful, right?
Bella and I just moved into this beautiful house.
We did.
Thank you, Reed. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you.
This is like a big step. This is like our house when like we're about to get married, and when we're married, we're gonna come back, and this is like our married home.
So would you say that you are going to start a family in this home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And to be honest, I watched my family, like they were always hosting growing up. And so like Christmases, Easter's, like, dude, not even holidays. It would look like holidays, like on a Wednesday. People would just come from work, family members would come, neighborhood kids would come. And just on a regular day, we would have what we had going on this whole week. And watching it, like my house having that, it was just like, I've just always waited to do that. Like, and it was cool watching my mom and dad come here and like run around hosting here. Like, it was just cool. Like, I just grew up with two parents that just always were so welcoming to everybody, and they hosted. And so watching my friends and family, like for this week, because we had the George Janko show, we're going to get into that. But everybody was here for that. And it was just like, dude, it was a dream. Like,
Question. Is that an adjustment for you?
You in the front row?
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
big fan.
Oh, yeah.
Been following for a couple years since you hired me. Thank you so much. Is that an adjustment for you? Because your family has always been so family oriented. People always over. Was your family always like that, or is that something you've had to adjust to?
Well, that's a wonderful question, Reed.
Wow,
Thank
Reed.
you.
Thank you so much.
Reed really grabbed in the
so much.
reins
Thank you.
here, dude.
I'm coming for that seat.
Oh my gosh. I just got it.
I could never.
No, actually, I'm glad you asked. You know, it's funny because I definitely had a different environment than George, like you being around like so many people all the time. But that's something I always like dreamed of and always like really wanted, was to be able to like have a house full of people and have everyone come over. And because like I was a kid going to like other people's houses and they were hosting, you know? So like it's always something I was like really looking forward to do.
Awesome.
So now doing it is like, it feels so special.
The dream.
I have a quick story I wanted to share with people like about this house. And goodbyes, sorry, I just failed. We're really tired, by the way. I really do apologize for like the slugger energy, but we have so much to unpack. So I promise, don't click away from this episode. We're going to be talking about how we met Trump, the George Janko show selling out. We're talking about all the guests that we had, and we're about to have the trajectory that we're going towards. We're unpacking a lot, and I want you guys to stay tuned. But this house, when we walked in, we were touring houses in Arizona. For those of you guys that don't know, I go back and forth from Arizona to California. I go to California just for work if I need to, but we have that house.
You like
that
it
we
a little bit.
I like it because because like the beach and stuff. I go there, but it's not safe, so I skedaddle back over here. And so we got this place that it's far away from other people. We have like a little privacy and stuff. But before that, we were searching for like the perfect home, and my dad, he's like, don't worry, the house, it come to you, you don't come to the house. And I was like, all right. And I was like, I never knew what that meant. I really didn't. But I always listen to my mom and dad. Like, it's just, I'm just, okay, I'll sit back, I don't argue. I walked into this house, though. I just went on Redfin. It's kind of like a Zillow, but on steroids, because like they update like every day or something like that. So I'm looking through, and I see this unbelievable house. And I'm like, yo, I love this house. I'm going to go check out this house. We come, Belle and I.
And your mom.
Belle, me and my mom. You know what's so funny?
Yes,
my mom, she comes outside, she goes, come here. Look, obviously this house is beautiful, but we don't let them know that. We do not let them know that. This girl is walking around like a schizophrenic in this house, literally hushing herself down like she has two personalities in the room. She'll be like in the living room. She'll walk into the movie room. She'll walk in, she goes, wow. I mean, it's okay. Shh. Like,
she literally
she
shushed
hushes
herself,
bro. She walks into another room, she goes, oh, shh. gosh. Everything but the light fixtures. Everything but the light fixtures.
We still need to change this.
Yeah, so we walked around the house, and unfortunately for the sellers at the time, they had to drop out of a contract because some guy couldn't move or something like that. And they already had the house like held up for a while, so they did a price cut. And it was a significant price cut. That's why there was like freaking 20 people here looking around the house. And when I went to go make them an offer, they were like, no. I was like, what?
It's too late.
They were like,
People did it.
I'm so sorry, no. And I was like, is there anything I could do? And they're like, nope, we already have enough. And I was like, I'll make up a backup offer. And they're like, we don't want your backup offer. We have like 7 backup offers. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then so I walked away, and then the realtor and I became friends. So we started looking at other houses. Like a month went by, and I told my mom and dad, I was like, dude, I don't know what it was about that house, but I pictured it. Like I saw it.
It stuck with you, and you've seen multiple after it.
Yeah, and I was like, I felt like that was my home, and it was weird that I didn't get it, because that feeling that I get when I feel like something's mine, like I get it because I'll work for it or whatever, but this was under, like it was in
Under your
control. It's
control.
not my control, but I gave it to God, and I never get bitter, because if it wasn't my home, God had a plan for another home. You know what I mean?
Wasn't
So
meant for
like,
you.
if it's maybe a kid needed to be here or whatever, like if it was that house, it was their house. I was never bitter about it. But I did tell my dad, I was like, dude, there's this beautiful church far away from here, but you could see the cross. And when you like open up that, like one of the doors and you see it, I was like, man, the only neighbor I have is Jesus. And so like, I thought it was like a cute little, like, this is my home. And so I prayed, and I was like, God, if this is my home, like, please, I would love it. I'm like, but if it's not and it's meant for somebody else, then please give it to somebody else. Later, life goes on, and we had Charlie Kirk on. Charlie Kirk, so now I'm interviewing guests. I'm back in my grind mode. I'm not really thinking about homes right now. And we interviewed Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk and I became somewhat close. We were not like best friends, but there's guests that I look up to, and when I interview them and we grow like a connection, I like to keep that connection. And so he invited me to like the Believer Summit and all these other things that we'll get into. That's actually pretty cool. I want to talk about. But he's like, I want you to meet Trump. And I'm going to get back to meeting Trump, because that's its own entity of a story on its own. But so I go around getting a suit, and all I keep thinking about is Trump, 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 Trump in my head, Trump in my head. That's it. Get my like suit to the dry cleaning, Trump. Like talking to people, guess who I'm meeting? Trump. Like that's all in my head. That's the only thing in my head. I go to bed, and my last prayer is like, God, I'm going to meet Trump tomorrow. Like I really want to open up that door to get him on the show, which we're going to get into that. Stay right there. If you're interested in that story, don't go anywhere. We're going to circle back. So I go to bed. But in my dream, nothing to do with Trump. Like nothing to do with Trump. I am just weeping in a house that I love. And I'm walking around, and I'm like, I can't believe I got this house. I can't believe I got this house. I wake up, and I'm like just focused on like Trump. That's it. So I wake up, I get up, and I'm like, all right, today's the day. I got to get my suit on. I got to practice my smile. He's going to shake me, and he's going to pull me in. I'm not going to let that shit happen. I'm going to stay strong. I'm like all the notes of Trump in my head. And Belle looks at me, and she's brushing her teeth. She goes, how did you sleep? And immediately I remember my dream. And I'm like, oh. I go, I had a dream that I got a dream house. As soon as I said this, my phone went ding. And I looked down at my phone, and the realtor goes, that house that you wanted is now on the market. She's like, you have to come right now to see it and make an offer if you want it. Bro, I call my dad. I go, Dad, I had a dream that I'm going to get this house. And he's like, okay. So he closes the shop. I run straight here. And the day that I got I had the dream, and Donald Trump is the day that I got this house, bro.
Unbelievable.
What a weird, incredible day.
It's such a beautiful home. It only makes sense that it has that beautiful of a backstory.
Bro, and you know what? I'm not going to lie. Like, I have pictures I can't wait to share. And in the clips, we'll definitely show, like, the parties and everything. But it's still, like, unreal.
This just happened also.
Yeah.
This just happened.
Yeah, I was in the kitchen, and me and Reed, we come from, like, a vlogging, like background. So everything that we do is just like, what are we going to document?
You have to monetize something every
Everything,
single day.
squeeze the lemon.
Even if there's nothing there, it's like, okay, what can we create that you can then get a good title and thumbnail out of? You know,
Exactly.
even if there's nothing,
and
you have to create something out of thin air.
It's not like a terrible thing, because I know a lot of social media stars still do it because they're catering to their audience. Mm-hmm. But I just like mystery. Like, I like the fact that Sinatra, we only know so much about. Mm-hmm. Like, there's people back in the day when they didn't have social media. Like, and I don't mean to be stupid, but like, you might agree with me. A lot of people you might really like somebody that's famous, and then watch them talk for a bit or show too much about their life, and you're like, ew, like I don't really like you no more. You should have been a little bit quieter. And I've always been jealous of like people that could keep their private and personal stuff because it has nothing to do with their work. I think showing every single thing is kind of like too much.
You have to keep something for you.
I think
Too
now you're
much.
like just starting to be able to make that transition, right? Because
Yeah.
before you could like.
I'm transitioning.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I identify as private now. I'm so sorry.
Identify
I'm
as
so
private.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please go.
No, it's awesome.
I'm so sorry.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so we're in the kitchen and I literally go, guys, like, I don't know how I'm going to like post this house, like pictures, like show all the rooms. And like,
I saw you.
And like, I was like, I don't know how to do it. And Reed just goes, hey man, you know you don't have to. And I was like, oh dude, I don't do that type of content
Bro,
anymore.
you were kind of facing away from me, and you're like, Reed, I don't know, like, how are we gonna post this? And I could like just see in your expression, it wasn't like oh man, like, I wonder how we're gonna take photos of this house. It was like you were a little overwhelmed, and like it wasn't a happy question. It was like, man, how are we gonna like, what's a good way to post this and for us to get as many people to see it and stuff? And I was like, you know, we're at this level and we're in this new chapter where we don't have to do that with every single thing. And literally your eyes lit up and you're like, Reed, you're right. I didn't know. I don't have to post this.
Bro, you thought that was good? My heart was racing. And then I'm showering and I go, Belle, we don't have to anymore. Like, that's not us anymore. This is our home, not their home. And Belle leans in, she goes, you know, it's kind of hot that you don't want to show anybody our home. And I was like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I'm a man. Where I live, you'll never know. We'll never know what it looks like. But, I mean, throughout stories, maybe they'll find
Throughout
out.
time, it just naturally comes out.
I mean, we're
which is
here
nice.
I feel
filming
less
in the living room.
desperate. That's what I feel like. Like,
Yeah.
I just felt so like...
I think before it was everything that happened in your life was a content opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? So like because you needed things to shoot. So you're like, I just got a house. This is great for a new video. But now you don't have to do that. Thanks to you guys and the podcast, which is so amazing.
Speaking
Yeah.
of you guys, you in general, every time we walk away from a podcast, she always goes, did I do good? And we're watching her just develop into this unbelievable woman on camera. But we just had the George Janko show in Phoenix, Arizona. It was sold out. We sold it out months before. There was people that were waiting out line around the corner, just waiting in line, hoping that there was tickets that went on sale for people that didn't show up. The meet and greet took 3 hours, line out the wazoo. The feedback was amazing, but the highest point of the night was when Shawna was opening up on stage and you got vulnerable. We're going to jump into the show part right now, but like when you got vulnerable, it was hands down the greatest part of the show. I was getting so many texts about that. The show was, it took a different direction than I thought it was going to be. I would love to jump into that.
Can we talk about leading up to it? And because people just see the George Janko show.
Yeah.
But there was so many months of us discussing over and over again what the George Janko show live should be.
Yeah.
Because you, in getting on the stage, has been driven by stand-up. You're going to be a stand-up comedian. You are a stand-up comedian. You're hilarious. But this podcast audience is there for your funny bits, but they're also there for that deep part of your soul. So it was an interesting thing trying to figure out what you getting on stage for an hour looks like. And the way it turned out was, I don't think like any of us expected.
Bro, rocked me. Just to like peel the layer back.
Physically, you were sweating.
Oh, bro, we'll get into it. But like, it's an improv-based show, but also I wrote jokes in there in between. So like that way, if the improv, say the crowd wasn't going that direction, I had bits. That's part of my stand-up to bring.
And those bits were so funny. Like they really were. And I'm unbiasedly saying that. They
Dude,
really
like,
were.
I went on stages and practiced them, and I was just blowing the roof off of these places. And mind you, these are not my words. These are people in the industry that are, I'm not going to name them. They'll willingly say
Dave
this.
Chappelle.
No, yeah. But there's people in the industry that I look up to as stand-up comics, and they were like excited about my set. And it felt good because a lot of people are like, he's not funny. Well, I've never showed that side of me. Like, I'm funny naturally when we're hanging out, but my stage work I've never shown yet. I polished it up. There was a whole routine that I had to get rid of because it was too dirty, and now I'm not that type of person anymore. So like, I don't want to speak like that. So I changed up this whole thing, and I got this like 35, 40-minute set of jokes that I was just so excited to get up there and share, and not one joke was sharing that day. Not one joke.
Granted, there was a lot of comedy. There was a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of laughs. Before the episode, a lot of people got in my head, which like I usually never let happen, but they will come up to me and they were like, yo, are you excited to talk about like the gospel, like this and that? And I was like, well, it's like, it's a comedy show and it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that. And so I had this in my mind, improv, like, and at the end, a tiny bit, we're going to get into like the gospel or like get into anything
And
deep.
on a deep note.
Yeah, on a deep, because I
Resonates,
wanted
yeah.
it to be a ride. I wanted to give them the 90s feel that I had. It's like I would watch something and laugh, but also walk away being like, wow, that was amazing. And that's why I loved Shawna's part, because everybody, when she was talking, was sitting up at their chair like this with their eyes just watering. And then she looked at me because she couldn't speak anymore because she was choking up. And then I hit a little funny line. The room erupts of laughter and claps.
And
But
then
I'm
back into
watching
it.
them wipe their tears and clapping. I was like, whoa, that is like...
That's what you're chasing.
That's something I wanted. And
I
also...
really appreciate that, by the way, because on stage at that moment, because it just, the show like naturally went there, and then it came from a question that somebody had asked, right? So then we were talking about that, and it just happened. And
No, you crushed
when
it.
we got off stage, I was so nervous. I was like, oh no, I messed up the whole show. I screwed it all up.
You guys
all
are the
felt like
same.
that.
You guys are the same.
We all felt like that. I walked off being like, because, okay, so the reason why I'm talking about this is halfway through, I'm about to start my bits. And if you realize, there's an airport joke that I have, and I blew past it. Because when I said this one joke and I heard the laughter, I looked up at the audience. And before I went on stage, I said, God, like, I want you to do what you want on stage, not what I want. And what I wanted was just to knock them off their feet with these jokes. But I could tell in my spirit they weren't here for jokes. So I look at the crowd after I just brought people on stage. Everybody's laughing. The crowd's going nuts. Like, we're having a great show.
We had can I say? We had this dating bit. Like,
Oh, by the way, they went on a date. I pulled two random couples, random strangers
It was
from the
the
crowd.
first thing that you did on stage, and I was like, okay, we have no idea. Shawna and I were like, what's happening right now?
Yeah. So I get hit. So like I get on stage and I could just tell it's just not, the audience is not here for what I thought it was. So I took a deep breath and I'm like, all right, we're going to go this direction. And by the way, these are the moments why I love God. And I'm not trying to be cheesy. I got like, it's like you walked into a fight and you're like, I'm going to tear this dude up. And he hits you with one punch and you're like, I forgot to calculate how hard this dude could hit. Like it's an unexpected measurement that you can't calculate. And when I got hit with like, first of all, how many people were there? That freaked me out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And then just the look on their faces, it was just weird. It just hit me differently. And I looked up at the crowd, and I know this was God because I would never lean on it. After all the things that Joe's always taught me, Joe Coy, he always says, never lean on the crowd for an answer. You always you direct them.
And you can make it seem like it's like they chose it, but you choose for them a little bit.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's all a show. They're here for you. You don't guide. You don't let them guide you. You guide them, right? That's why I never do like Arizona, give it up for Arizona, and people clap. Those are cheesy claps. Like if you're leaning on the audience to give you a clap, then you didn't deserve the claps. But I just remember looking at the crowd and being like, all right, we're like halfway through. Maybe like actually 50 minutes in, actually. Like we're 50 minutes in, and I go, all right, you tell me what's next, guys. And I grabbed the stool because I think they're about to say yes to the jokes. So I'm getting ready to do my stand-up bit. I was like, jokes, or do you guys want to get deep? Now, I know there's going to be people in the crowd. They're like, deep, deep. But I'm measuring that a little bit of people are going to say deep. And then that way I'll bring it back for them at the end. That way the whole room feels like, oh, we all got heard. Not a single person in that crowd yelled joke. I think it's because they thought they were done laughing or something. Maybe because they were laughing the whole time off of improv. But they just go, deep, the whole room. And I was like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, bro, 2 seconds later, I'm preaching. And I'm just speaking to the crowd. And the crowd is like asking me about spiritual things. And bro, like, I felt like I let them down because, like, I was like, oh, dude, like, this is too deep. Like, nobody wants to come to a show and have it be this deep.
You'd think.
Bro, when I go, hey, we're having a meet and greet, and the club management was like, bro, it's very rare that the meet and greet goes all the way across the building, all the way down, and all the way across. It took me 3 hours almost to finish almost every single person that watched that show.
And that was also you going, okay, I got a line. Like you were like,
Bro.
it could have been 6 hours.
Bro, it was insane. And watching the feedback, I thought I failed, but until the audience like talk to me, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to go on like a little tour of this. I think there's going to be a version of me doing stand-up, going and telling jokes and only jokes. But the George Janko show with no material, getting on stage, grabbing an audience member, pulling his heart out on stage, dissecting it in front of everybody, having a great amount of laughs, a great amount of like power there, and then just tell jokes and then go back into the deep. I think I'm going to hold off for like a few more months going on stages, because what rocked me, bro, with that, like if it were doing a fight analogy, it was like my opponent is right hand was way more powerful. And that was how powerful the audience came to talk. And I didn't expect that. They came to run this show with me and like get deep and stuff. And I got to get better as a performer of making sure it's deep, but also we go and laugh, because I want to make sure that whoever came to buy that ticket, if it was somebody to laugh or somebody to get deep or somebody just to hear me talk, if you spent money to watch me, I want you to walk away being like, I would buy 10 more tickets for me and my friends to go watch that together. And I really feel like we did a great job, dude. I'm really proud of us. I really do think, out of everything I've ever done in my life, that this show is going to be the show. It's going to be something that people know me for. They're going to be like, oh, the George Janko show, bro. Like, it's like, I want it to be like a Joe Rogan and a Tony Robbins, where it's like, you not only are you coming here to laugh your ass off, but you walk away being like, dang, I never thought about something like that. Like, I don't want to just die being somebody who made you laugh. I would want to die being like, I made you a better father. I made you a better friend. My perspectives and thoughts made you challenge yourself. Like, I want to show my heart and my flaws.
This is what it is. That's who you are. It's just representing that on stage.
Yeah.
Because that's who you are. You will have 20 people in a kitchen silent, and you will be preaching, like just with your friends, just at 1 a.m., and then you'll say a joke and everybody starts laughing. That's who you are. Yeah. So it's just how, when there's a room of 2,000 people looking at you, how do you do the same thing as when you're in the kitchen with your friends?
First of all glory to God, right? Like, these ticket sales are not because of us, and unfortunately they're not because of you guys. It is because of him. But you guys are such a blessing, and like, it is such a gift watching you guys come to this show and meet us. It's like we are meeting more of us. Like, I understand now when they're like, oh, every audience and their artist, it's like a mirrored version of them. Like a Travis Scott is singing and preaching to his Travis Scott versions of him around the world.
Yeah.
And when I got to meet my audience, I was like, yo, this is not an impulsive audience. This is not my Vine audience. This is not my YouTube vlog audience. This is a mirror. This is like a version of me in Connecticut, or a version of me in like Ohio. Like, and we're all coming together to talk together, and it's just freaking magical. I don't want to harp too much on this, but I just want to say, guys, that was my first sold out show. I've been dreaming about that since I was a kid. We're going to be releasing out clips on it soon, but anybody who bought a ticket, and if you guys are wanting to buy a ticket, in our description there's a number. Text it. It's just for me to log who wants me to come to sell them merch or sell them a ticket to the show. So if you text me like, hey, come to my city, you'll be in our log. So that way when we are in your city, we text you and say, hey, we're going to be performing here. Get your tickets now. So in there you can get that. And by the way, a lot of people message me and I could see them talking to me like it's my number. I'll sometimes message you back, but that's not for that. So I hope you guys don't get upset about that, because I'll see some people write out their heart and they're like, damn, I thought you were going to message me. And I was like, dude, this is not like I can't message you like that's taking, it'll take forever.
It's to gather data.
Yeah.
We are gathering data.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I wanted to tell you that from my mouth, because I don't want you guys to, because I felt bad. I feel like somebody at home was just writing out their heart and they're like, he's going to message me back. And I'm like, I'm not. It's like, I don't even see that.
Then you just leave them on red.
Yeah.
Just so
I'm so sorry. No disrespect. I don't even answer my own texts from my phone. Like, there's no way I'm going to answer them. So the last episode that we left you guys on was the John Bellion episode. And can I tell you something, bro? That episode was loved by the most random human beings I've ever met in my life.
What do you mean?
The amount of people that would come up to me like, dude, thank you for bringing John Bellion out of his whole, like, we've been missing him. And like, I was like, oh, there's more people like me where they're like, where's John? You know?
Yeah.
But dude, there was one that blew me away. Charlie Kirk goes, George, tomorrow you're meeting Trump. I go, yes, sir. Put my suit on, got the house, thank God. I am going there. I'm meeting him in line. There's a sheriff there. There's a politician there. There's Congress there. I'm like, how the hell did I get in this line? Like, I don't even understand, right? Like, I don't understand. All these important people around me, and it's just me and Bell, YouTubers, people that like talk. And I'm like,
That's what politicians do too.
right? low key, we're like the new politicians, right? Okay.
Watch out.
That's us. Obviously, there's a couple laws I want to talk about after this. We're gonna get
Right. A couple bills.
Don't
to
vote
pass.
for 829.
Yeah. Say no to 412.
Yeah, dude. By the way,
Careful.
that might
Who
be a
knows?
thing.
Yeah, I don't know what. Don't
4.2 is like bringing Christianity back to the
say
America.
no. Don't say yes.
So I'm in line and I was like, Belle, like everybody's just shaking his hand, taking a picture and leaving. I'm like, we got to make sure we make like some type of like, you know, like get him interested in us, you know?
Which is hard because you're just there to shake the man's
Also,
hand,
it's
right?
Donald Trump, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
And he's like, okay, let's go. Like I got to talk for like an hour on stage right now, you know?
I've never been starstruck, ever. Never. Justin Bieber once.
Yeah, of course.
A few times, actually. I'm not going to lie. Jason Statham, too. There's actually a lot of times I've been starstruck.
Yeah.
I take that completely back. But this one, bro, when I was watching him, so we turn around the corner, there's Secret Service, there's one right here, and there's one right next to him. And I just pray to God. I go, God, please, like, I need somebody to recognize me right now. Because, like, I'm going to need him to know that I got recognized. So that way he thinks I'm important, and then he can talk to me, God. So, if, not trying to be weird, but I'm going to need a little sprinkle of the fame. As soon as we get up there, the guy reading us goes, George Janko, George. And he looks at me and goes, why do I know you? He goes, dude, this is the Secret Service. Goes, dude, I loved your John Bellion episode. And I was
Wait,
like,
this is Trump next to him?
so there's two. Trump is with taking pictures with somebody else.
Got it.
And the Secret Service is with him. And basically they hand you over while introducing you. So this is the guy who introduces you. Bro, I was like, don't tell me that. Tell him that. Right? And I was like, wow, you really like it? And I was talking a little louder. I was like, yeah, that episode was like so good. But Donald is like so focused on the person next to me. So I'm like, damn, he's not going to hear this shit. So then I was blatant. I was like, tell him that. And he starts laughing. He thought it was a joke. It wasn't a joke. And I was like, haha. And he's like, dude, that was so good. And he started like just opening up his heart. That was weird, bro. That felt like a Disney show to me. It felt like the Disney kid, like an iCarly goes to meet the president.
Yeah.
And then the Secret Service is like, I love this episode of this.
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah,
goosebumps
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Just thinking
yeah.
about I literally was just looking at this guy talking about my show. And I was like, this is crazy, bro.
Because they're so serious, like they have to keep things, you know.
But
like,
watching him break and like going from like this to like talking
John
to me like a
Bellion.
human, I was like, oh, this is wild.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he just goes right back into professional realm. He goes, Mr. Trump, this is George Janko and Shawna Della Rica. And we walk in. Donald shakes his hand. He goes, wow, what a lucky man. You have such a beautiful woman. I'm shaking my hand and I'm like, yeah, I'm lucky. And like, bro, like I was so shook on like making sure I shake his hand properly because I know he pulls you in and does all that shit. So I'm so focused on that, but he doesn't do that with me. He just shakes my hand. And in my mind, I'm like, am I not a threat? Like, you know what I
Is
mean?
it 'cause
Like,
I'm short?
But like, what the hell is this, dude? You just complimented my woman. Like, are you like trying to take her from me? Like, what? Like, pull me in. Like, show
This
me.
one.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, get her. And I was like, so he's shaking my hand. He compliments my girl. He's being such a gentleman. And to be honest, he said two other things to me that was like really nice. But I was in like complete like
Days.
blown, bro. I was just shaking this dude's hand, and it was just memories were flashing from him being on MTV or like all these other like WWE from like all these music videos to freaking what's that movie where he's like that movie like I'm like this guy's been around, dude. This guy's
president
career
at one point
is
even.
insane.
Just saying MTV stuff.
No, but I kept telling Belle, I go,
Yeah.
Belle, like not only are we meeting a president, we're meeting an important president at a crazy time in America, bro. Like this is insane. Like I can't believe I'm here. I'm blown away. So in my heart, I'm like, all right, George, like how are you going to introduce yourself to get Donald Trump on your show? As I'm shaking his hand, bro, Charlie Kirk just slides right in between us and goes, Mr. President, this gentleman is named George Janko, and man, does he have an excellent show. A lot of people admire the way he speaks. That should be something that you should be a part of. And he goes, turns to me and goes, what could we do to make this happen? I I just
Pass out.
bro, no, you don't understand. I literally, and this is might be bad.
Oh, no.
I literally go, and he like chest caught me slipping. He goes, pulls me in, does the pull thing, caught me off guard.
Oh,
pulls
no.
me in. I go, no, this is literally.
I speak well.
I go, and he goes, listen. He literally, like in an over exaggerated version of it, he goes, shh to me. He goes, we'll take care of this, Charlie. Make sure you link us in. He goes, we're gonna be all good. Pulls me in, pulls her in, takes a picture, turns to me, he goes, I actually did hear about you, and then starts talking about something that we did. I still can't talk. I'm just staring at him, and I'm like, dude, you're really blowing this right now. Like, you gotta speak. So I go, all right. He goes, all right. Is there anything? He goes. Let me know if there's anything I could do. Then he did that, and then I shake his hand. He says that, and I go, all right. And he goes, all right. We'll talk very soon. And I go, thank you, Mr. President. I'm looking forward to it. And shake his hand. I turn around. I walk away, and I go, I don't think I said a word to this man. I can't believe the guy.
It was a single
who speaks. And I know Mr. President is watching this one day. Somebody hopefully will clip it and send it to him. And I know that you probably think that I was like not prepared and I was a little shook. You got to give me grace. You're Donald Trump, and I'm George Janko, and you're a lot taller than I thought.
No, you did say some good stuff.
Did I?
Yeah, you were like after.
What the hell are you doing? Speak about it, dude. I don't
You're
remember
telling
that.
your story. I don't know. You're telling your.
What did
little
I say
joke.
that was good?
You were
Joke? That was my life.
When Charlie like swooped in and he said his bit, whatever, and then Trump looks at you and then you're like, yes, sir. And you're like, and I also have a really great audience in Arizona because you know that Arizona is very important for him in the election. So I have a really great, audience in Arizona, and so it would be great for you to come on. And he said, all right. And he's like, what can I
Nice,
do
George.
for you? And then he was like, all right. He's like, well, you know what? You know Charlie? He's like, you'll link us.
Wow.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow,
not
you said
joking.
this is a swing state, Mr. President. I would like to back you.
Yeah,
What if she's like, what are you
good for
talking
you.
about? Remember he pulled you in? He said, buddy, and you pulled him back. You're like, listen here, I ain't Putin, okay? And right now, this missile ain't launching. You're like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, it was good. But it all went by so quick and so fast, and there was like few words, boom. It was like picture. I was like, no idea what face I made for that. And then we were gone.
I didn't know I said all that good things. And good. Now I feel like confident. Because like he said he's coming on the show, and I feel it, but I felt like in my mind, like my insecure version of me was like, he's not coming on your show, bro. You said, and he said, bye. Like you're going to say, to me, prep before you meet me. So I thought I blew it, but I didn't. And thank God he's going to be coming on our show. So make sure you tweet at him and you get him excited so he doesn't forget.
Yeah, remind him. Like,
Yeah, please,
George
guys,
Janko show.
please.
You
What was the
you
George
actually
Janko
had another opportunity to meet him.
Oh my God.
You could have followed this up and kind of saved your grace, but we were at Turning Point, USA.
Could you talk about so we're talking about the Believer Summit.
Yeah.
All right, go,
So
please.
you went and performed on stage with Charlie Kirk. You guys had a sit-down interview. You crushed it.
Thank you. By the way, I didn't think I crushed it.
Right. You came off.
Yeah.
You had a 20-minute slot. They had so many events.
Yeah.
Bro, back to back. Charlie is just like
Which by
at
the
a
way,
different level.
if you went there, thank you for coming and watching. There was like 4,000 people there.
Yeah.
And then also it's like that day was like a big day to me because like, bro, like I shared the stage with Donald Trump. Meeting him is one thing. Sharing a stage where you speak and they had unbelievable lineup
Yeah.
and I was a part of it.
And you almost shared
Whoa.
a moment with him, but something happened.
Yeah.
So you came off stage. And we were kind of hanging out in the back in the green room and stuff. We hung out with Cliff and Stewart for a while. And then Cliff and Stewart with a young gentleman. I don't remember his name, but he's like, do you guys want to meet Trump? Just
Bo.
super casually.
Yeah,
Bo.
Bo.
Just like, oh, do you guys want to meet Trump? And it's like, oh, yeah. So we were following him. He's like, just follow me. We went back to behind the performance where Trump walks through to get onto stage. And then slowly more and more Secret Service are coming out, you know?
Yeah.
And we noticed everybody has these pins on. They have a pin. And we're like, we don't have a pin.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden a Secret Service agent comes up and he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna need you to clear out.
Oh, no,
I'm gonna
dude, no. He did it so much more disrespectfully.
What'd
bro.
he say?
I'm standing there. I just got off the stage, and I thought I did bad, but then they showed me that I did good.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from like feeling like crap to feeling really good.
Well, wasn't it because you thought that it was 5 minutes?
Did I come back here real quick. What?
Wasn't it because you thought it was 5 minutes?
I thought they wrapped me up because
Yeah.
I argued. So long story short,
felt-
everybody was like just super in like agreement with each other and like agreement with each other. And I argued with Charlie, and I thought like he got upset with that. So I thought they pulled me off stage, but it wasn't the case. So I was like, oh man, I messed up.
You
And
just
then-
did your 20 minutes.
Yes.
But it just went by so quick for you. Yeah.
And so then they were like, no, you did so good. Actually, we're going to want you back, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, wow, good. This is awesome. And so I went low, high, And man, did that tap on my shoulder. I'm sitting back there, and I don't like to wear the thing where it says speaker on it because it ruins your outfit, bro. So I put that in my
lanyards? We got to come up
It's
with something
ugly,
new
dude.
than lanyards. Yeah.
I get a tap on my shoulder. Hey, good job. Get out. And I was just like, what?
And it was one of those moments where it's like, there's the official people that are telling you can't, but then it's like, no, my boy said I could be here, and he knows what's up. But it's the Secret Service, so it's kind of the one.
And it's the one that didn't watch me.
Part of authority where it's like you don't want to stick around probably. So we start walking away, and then David's like, but like I thought like we could meet him and stuff, and then we see Charlie over at a desk, and we're like, go talk to him for a second and ask if we could stay. George and I are like, oh, we're a ways back, but we're watching, and I see David, and he's talking to Charlie for a bit. He's kind of pitching. Charlie's looking up like, he hasn't said anything. Charlie's just nodding his head, yeah. And then I just see Charlie go, no, not another word. He literally just stares into David's eyes. No. And then David goes,
he was so confused.
okay. And then we left.
Dude,
Well, you guys didn't get background checked, right?
No.
Before the
No, they-
No,
so
we
that's probably
did
why.
though. We did. Like
Before the summit?
Well, I mean, we did when we had to first meet him. Oh, you never
Like
got
it was you and I. We did him and Division. They didn't do the Secret Service like
Yeah.
background check and everything.
And that was, this is after the assassination
yeah,
attempt. So
they're like,
Yeah.
no.
they're probably a little tight right now.
Yeah. And the way I look.
Yeah. Oh,
And look
so
at his,
funny.
look at his
Bro,
nose
bro,
ring. Look
bro.
at his nose
Look,
ring.
Yeah.
You don't know.
We're walking
Yeah.
around this place, and this. Please tell them this. I'm just tell them.
Well, this is the same night we're walking around. We actually got these. There was these two older moms that were really drunk. They were talking to us for a long time. We like finally got away. We're trying to go to our hotel room because I have to wake up at like 6 a.m. to fly back. We were in and out on this trip. We go into the hotel lobby to go up to our room, and I don't know if I can do it, Grace George. I think you have to do it. This lady's just first words out of her mouth to George.
I'm gonna need a Frisca. You look like a terrorist, like that.
Wait, at
Just
the
a
airport?
white woman. Just
no,
At the hotel?
That's racist. That's actually racist. That's actually problematic, though.
Why is this woman saying that to you? Where are you?
We're at
in
a
the
Republican
lobby.
event.
And like, bro, but she's just like, she literally just goes, "Whoa, you look like a terrorist. I'm gonna need a Frisca," like that. And I was like, "Well then," and
And then that just started a conversation.
bro, I started dying.
Oh my gosh, she's
I
risky.
started
Like
dying of
She
laughter.
did not
I
hesitate
don't
for a
think
second.
she was joking.
I don't think she cared.
I think she just blatantly just spoke.
Yeah.
She was drunk, so she wasn't like trying to be funny.
Not that drunk.
wait,
She's not that
guys,
drunk.
you're missing part. Like, where are you?
We're
What
in the
time
hotel
of day
lobby.
is it?
We're in the hotel
At
lobby.
night?
Yeah.
Yes. We're about to go to bed. I'm going into the elevator. This lady just randomly says that to George. Not
Oh
even like
my
we're at a moment
gosh.
waiting for an elevator. Like she's walking by.
Was
Like-
it a white lady?
Yeah,
Yes.
super white.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
No, it was definitely a racist thing.
I was so caught off guard.
It was
Yeah.
definitely a racist thing, but like,
She just complimented because she thought you were cute. So that was her way of
Okay,
Complimenting him.
Jess.
I'm gonna need to know who this lady is.
No,
nah,
random.
it was definitely racism.
It was definitely
But here's the thing. I could have easily been like, "What?" and smacked her across the face and be like, "How dare you, you racist woman," and then recorded her. But instead, I laughed and I was like, "Let me see where this is about." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Actually, my name is George. I'm an Assyrian man. I'm actually born in America. My parents, unfortunately, are from Iraq, right?" And she was just like, "Well," she goes, and then she starts like talking, and me and Reed just had a great time with it.
She was really funny.
And by the way,
Wow.
we walked away. I might be her first Middle Eastern friend.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
wow.
you know, it does sound
We
like
changed that woman's heart that day.
her saying like she wants to frisk you sounds a little like
Oh,
sensual.
I think
like
a little.
Yeah, it sounds like she was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like you.
Trust
I
me,
think she thought it was
she
funny.
was not.
and
She was
then,
not threatening.
No?
She was not threatening.
Either way, I have beef with this.
I'm more
lady
threatening
now.
than she was.
Yeah.
That was probably her way of flirting with you.
I think you guys should have been there.
I think this is a very important thing to know the tone of her voice.
Okay.
And trust me, it was racist.
All right, all right.
Yeah. And she had
Trust
a
me.
friend there, and her friend wasn't like, "Oh, you can't
yeah.
say that." She was just like,
Yeah, like this is how we start conversations with brown people. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you have
Oh,
to? Yeah.
but I thought
yeah.
it was funny. Well,
"Oh,
I'm sorry.
My best friend's calling me, and it's his birthday. Hello, Habibi.
Hello, Habibi.
Habibi, we're
Hello.
Habibi. Everybody in the comment section wish
you
happy
see-
birthday to Kaveh. Okay, blur that. Habibi, I'm gonna have to call you back after this show, Habibi.
Okay, Habibi.
Khadafis.
Khalafis.
Hi.
You guys want to know? Do you guys want to know what I was doing while you guys were asked to be frisked in a hotel lobby?
Unfortunately, it was just George. I felt kind of left out.
I'm sorry.
What
she
were you
didn't
doing?
want to frisk me.
I'm sorry. Well, you know when like this is so random. We could cut this out. If it doesn't whatever. But like,
Love the confidence.
Yeah, this is staying in.
Bro, me and you are the same person. Just really insecure, powerful, confident. It just doesn't make sense, but it's an oxymoron.
oh, my
dude.
comments and then wait, hold on.
Go ahead, please.
I went to Ross's and like
You went to what?
Ross's.
Ross?
Ross's.
Ross?
Dress for less?
Ross.
It's not. You don't do.
That's what you
plural
get at
on
the George
Ross's.
Janko show. Not only do you get talking about meeting Donald Trump, but immediately right after you go to Dress for Less.
Just
Ross.
realized Ross. I was getting some good stuff for good deals. But anyways, you know when you go in one of those, it's like Home Goods or Ross, and their carts have like the long stick on them so that you don't take them out of the store.
Yeah.
Well, so like I just finished getting a whole lot of stuff, right? I got some banging deals and some pillows and towels and everything, right? And I'm walking out and the cart is full. And she put all the bags in my cart and I'm like, I'm not gonna carry all these bags. I'm gonna take the cart out to the car. And so I like go to the door and I'm like opening the door and the door's kind of hard to open. So I'm kind of prop thing open. I'm like pushing the cart through and I'm like, oh, why is this stuck? Like the door's kind of stuck.
No,
And then I'm
You're
like,
this person?
and then
You're this person, Belle?
normally I'm not. And then I'm like, oh gosh, like what? The door's kind of heavy. And I'm like, no one's helping me. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to
No
the
one's
side.
helping you because we're like, when is she going to find out?
And then I go to the other, because it's a double door, I go to the other door, I'm kind of going to the side now. I'm like holding the
my
cart
God.
and I'm holding the door. And I'm trying to prop it open and I'm like trying to, like dragging through. I'm like, what's wrong with the wheels? And then I like look back behind me and it's all the registers and everyone in the store is just looking at me.
You shouldn't be leaving home anytime
looking
soon,
at me
George.
like
You need
this.
to be here. You need to
And
be
I'm
here.
like, what the heck? And I look up and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's the stick. And then as in the same time that I realize that there's the stick that doesn't let you through, finally, an employee looks at me and goes, oh yeah, you can't take that outside.
Yeah, we wait for the person to find the stick and then we tell them about it.
But like, no one,
Belle, you're that person.
That's so funny.
no one
dude.
wanted to tell me and
you didn't
stop
hear
me?
the tick, tick, tick
There was
every
no
time?
noise. There was no noise. Just I couldn't get it through.
Persistent.
So and then the lady finally tells me, and then I'm like, oh my gosh! I look at everyone. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so
You're
sorry.
on a stage right now, bro. You're on a stage,
Everyone is staring at me like I'm not like that like.
and you say sorry
Like,
to everybody.
I
You're
say sorry
apologizing to the whole store.
Literally everyone's staring at me.
Got
And
it.
they're not laughing. Like, I would have been laughing at least if that was happening. No, they're looking at me like, oh, this white, young, dumb bee. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just some dumbass, like, you know what I mean? White girl. Frick.
That's really
I took
funny.
the car, I took everything, and I'm like, sorry, everyone. And I took my bags and I left. And that's what I did.
It's good to know you're having fun, you
Yeah.
know, when
I forgot to
when
tell.
George is out speaking at Turning Point USA, you know.
Was that the story? You're like, I have a great story, George. You forgot. Was that
No,
the one?
no,
What was
that
the
was
one
not
that
the
you
story.
thought I forgot?
Oh, it's so right before we moved into this house, we were at an apartment in Arizona.
Oh my God, bro.
I know.
I didn't tell you about this yet?
No.
Bro, I'm sitting on the, Belle's sitting on the balcony at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, mind you, we have dinner at 3 o'clock in the morning.
We do.
Bree could vouch.
I like to
hate
make a
you
little
guys.
steak.
I hate
We
you guys.
literally 2 o'clock in the morning, he looks at his phone, he goes, this is crazy, bro.
I'm trying to go back to LA today.
Yeah.
And we're shooting at 1 p.m. and Kira's like, can we shoot any earlier or anything? I'm like, no, 1 is early for them because they eat dinner at 4 a.m., bro. Like,
We're Mark Wahlberg, but in the
Like,
opposite
what?
way, bro. We're like 3 a.m. club, but
Barbara
we
should have
haven't gone to
changed
bed
you.
yet.
I thought Barbara changed you, bro.
No.
I thought she
It's
said
hard-
what you needed to hear.
It's hard to change habits. When Reed came in, yeah, it was like 2:30 a.m. and I was like, I'm gonna make you some meatballs.
You
and
made
risotto.
risotto
Anyways,
at 3 in the morning.
Anyway,
Okay,
so
sorry.
Belle's making steaks at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And
But at this point, we're done eating. I'm sitting on the balcony by myself, and you're inside.
yeah, and I hear, hey, Shawna.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing, bro. I am a very protective, old school type of dude.
Yeah.
There's places and times to talk to my girl. And in a not okay setting, I get very uncomfortable. I feel like you're intruding into my privacy. You yelling at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I think it was 4 a.m. too. I have it
4
written
a.m. in the morning at our balcony because you're drunk, you have no phone, you have no wallet, you have no keys to get into your apartment. And you're calling my girl by her first name. You're like, hey, Shawna, could you throw me down your keys? I need to get in. And I walk out. I go, who the frick? And I look at him. I go, I'm sorry, who are you? He goes, dude, you know me. We talked at the pool. We talked about candy sewings, dude. And I was like, first of all, what? You're talking about a podcast I shot, buddy. I don't even know who you are. Now, mind you, if I knew who this person was and they were in my building, I would absolutely come down and give them the keys, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know who this guy is. It's really late. He's drunk.
And he's not starting off on a good note.
And he has this girl and he's lying. So I gave him 3 tests. All tests failed. 1, dude, why don't you use the call box to call your roommate to open it up? Oh, dude, I didn't set that up yet. That was strike 1. Strike 2, let me go through my strikes. Strike 2, he goes, could you give me the code to the thing that's only for maintenance? Us, we don't use that. So he doesn't know the building. And then 3, he has no phone, no ID to show me where he lives. He has nothing. So I go, brother, I'm trying to help you, but if I let you in, I'm responsible for this shit. I go, I'm sorry, like, no. I'm like, it's too late. You're too intoxicated. Like, I don't know who you are. I don't remember you, unfortunately. Bro, this dude not only waited outside, but sat down in that chair outside and just stared
into your
at
balcony.
me like this. Like, I'm not kidding. So say I'm up, like, this is the balcony. He's downstairs. He's like this.
No, literally, you guys. Like, he...
And then, unfortunately, he had a girl with him. And I know he's trying to, like, I don't know, get laid or something. And she's just not having it. And so I go, why don't you have her phone call the people? Like, I'm giving them everything, bro. Everything. They don't have anything. So finally, I'm staring at him, and I get pissed, bro, because this guy's like super, just uncomfortable, right?
Well, this whole thing was for so much time, like
15, 20 minutes.
Doubled down. He was like, look at me. He was like, come on, Shawna, you have to remember me. Come on, and I'm like, literally, you guys, I've never met this man.
Bro, we're really good at
ever.
remembering people.
Yeah,
very good at remembering
I was like,
people.
I'm
Very good at conversations. You may not remember names.
I never remember names, but I'll remember
I know
every
faces.
Yeah,
And
in
there's 2 of
in
you.
fact, at the show when I met at the meet and greet, I met like 600 people there. There was like 10 people that I remember where I met them, and they couldn't believe that I remember where they're from.
Really?
I don't remember their names, unfortunately, because I meet a lot of people's names. But if I meet you and we have a good conversation, I won't forget it. I'll remember that.
And it was like also when he asked him, like, he was like, yeah, but bro, remember we talked by the pool? And George was like, what do we talk about? He was like, yeah, you know, like the candy sewings we're talking about. He kind of just pulled
Bro,
something
it just
out.
seemed
It was
like
weird.
it just didn't seem real. But my heart did feel like he did live here, or like his friend lived here and he was just trying to get in with his girl.
Yeah.
And I just, bro, so I'm just sitting there. And the only reason I moved a little bit is because like his girl was there. And I felt like I didn't want her to be outside like the whole time.
She shouldn't have to
And
pay for
you-
his mistake. But.
Do not forget what you said to him. So
Bro,
after
okay.
he's 20 minutes by the call box trying to figure out this, like we're just sitting on the balcony just waiting. He's by the call box for 20 minutes, comes back over here, then stands and then just stares at us up at the balcony. Then
I'm trying to
George
stop
says-
swearing, but in this moment, I literally looked at him. I go, hey, buddy, you're creeping the fuck out. I go, what's good? And he goes, dude, come on! Like that, like so loud, bro. He goes, you know me! Like that. And I was like, he goes, I was at the club, I blah, blah, blah. I got up. I go, listen to me. I don't give a fuck. I don't know you. I don't care about what's going on in your life. I go, stop talking to me on my balcony.
This is like some Jersey Shore stuff,
right,
bro.
right.
This is like.
So then I sit back down, and dude, he just deflates, just goes like that.
So you guys can still see each other, right? You're sitting on your
Yeah.
balcony.
like this,
That's hilarious.
like this, Reed.
And then you
this,
guys
and
don't
he
say anything to each
and
other.
he sits down, he's like this, and I'm sitting down, and mind you, I'm smoking a J, so even worse. I'm like a little high, and this shit's weird as hell. And so I'm like sitting there, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, now I'm feeling bad, bro, because I wanted this guy to pass the test. I wanted him. So I literally look at him. I go, come here, look at me. And he gets up, he looks at me, and go, look at me. And I just stare at him. And I go, now I remember you. I go, if I give you my keys and you don't come back, or you do something stupid in this building, I go, I'm gonna fuck you up, bro. Do you understand? I go, I am going to fuck you up. I go, you're going to unlock your door, come back here, give me my keys, and not do anything else. And he goes, yeah, dude, I promise
Yes,
you.
dude.
And I'm like,
Bro,
wow.
I go, unlock the door, hold the door, throw me the keys. He goes, got it, dude. He unlocks the door, goes inside. I go,
Because he had to go get the That's another sign as to how we knows he doesn't live in that building, because he would know that once you do the fob for the front door, it unlocks the first elevator for guests. So you don't need the fob for the second time. He didn't
immediately
know
this guy
that.
takes off. I'm starting to put shit against the door, barricading it, because he has my keys. He has my mailbox. He has everything. He has everything. Now you're probably like, George, that's a very stupid thing to do. Why would you do that? Because I'm kind and I care, and it's cold outside, and this guy has a girl.
It was not cold outside.
At the time, it was cold. At the time, it was cold.
No, it wasn't. It
In
was
the
100.
story, it's cold.
Shut up, bro.
Okay, it's very hot
we're in
outside.
Arizona.
The guy was sweating. Okay?
No water.
This guy was thirsty. He was tired. He just tried to get laid. He couldn't get laid. And so I thought maybe I'd help this guy out.
Wow.
So yeah, he finally comes back and he goes, "Thank you, dude." Throws me his keys. I've never seen that guy again in my life.
Of course
And that's
not.
why we moved. It's not why we moved.
No.
Got it.
But
The
I want you to know,
reality
I
that-
know if you watch my podcast, you watch Candace Owens and we talk about it, I hope you're watching this. You freaked me out. You freaked
was
me
so
out.
weird.
You freaked me. This is why we left. Yeah.
Literally, I was like, George, why? I went back inside and I was like, what? Why? I was like, no, bro. Like, this is insane. It's just the fact that,
Because you got to be there for your neighbors, bro. I tried to be there.
No, he's your neighbor.
he's not. The reality of it is like he's definitely the friend of somebody who lives there. And
I
they
got
all
that
went out
feeling.
that night.
I'll tell
the
you
friend
why I
probably
know-
went home early.
I know why I did it. Because I remember before I lived at 1600, I had friends at 1600.
Yeah, and you come
and
back
if I
and-
bring a girl, it's nothing's like a killer than like, oh, I can't get into this building. And now the
You're
girl's
done.
waiting outside.
Dude,
And
she even
gone.
got lippy. I was like, no, I almost like
No,
get lippy
chill,
with
chill,
George.
she
chill,
did. She did, but her attitude was there because she was frustrated, but she made sense. She literally turned to us, gave us attitude, and was agreeing with us. She goes, "No, I get it. It makes sense. You wouldn't give us your keys. Like, it's so we don't even know you. I get it, like that." And I was like, "Bitch, are you against us or with us?"
I was like, relax.
What is going on here, bro?
It just sounds like a tense
relax.
situation.
And by the way, Belle is the worst, bro. She'll tell me to calm down until she doesn't have enough of it, and then she goes off, and then I have to sit there being like, babe, it's not worth
You
it.
guys
I didn't
take
go
turns.
off.
You guys take turns.
I didn't go off. I only went off for a second. And when she got lippy with
Did you just hear this? I didn't go off. I did not go off. I went off for a second. Yep.
just for a sentence because she was getting lippy with you and she had no business getting
Talking
lippy
to
in
your
this
man like
situation.
that.
so I was like,
Uh-uh.
relax.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
have nothing to do with
And
it.
by the way,
down
we look
is
like
powerful.
royalty because we're up high. We're like,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
peasant.
You're just pointing
You
down
will not
on them,
speak
huh?
to us like this.
Wow.
Here in this kingdom, and you can't even come through the walls.
It's just wild, bro. Can you imagine sitting on your balcony by yourself, 4 a.m., and someone goes, hey, Shawna.
And they're coming out of the shadows.
Well, thankfully, you guys own a beautiful home now, so you
Yeah.
know all this is behind
Yeah.
you.
But that was a fun experience.
That's amazing.
That was that was one of them.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have anything. Oh, Bobby Lee, bro. Bobby Lee.
Bobby
wow,
Lee.
it's been a while since we've done one of these.
So,
Sean.
wow, dude, it's been a minute. We had Bobby Lee on, and man, was I freaking nervous about that one.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up praying together, hanging out together. I've messaged him and talked to him a few times since he's been on this episode.
Really?
The reason I wanted to bring this up, and I'll make it short, there was times where I'm like, dude, if I ever see that guy again, I'm gonna have a problem. Like I had anger in my heart.
You
right?
voiced it out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when Reed was always like, yo, you should have him on the show, you should have him on the show. And I was like, bro, like, no, I find it very disrespectful. He never reached out. He never did any of this shit. Like, I didn't even do anything. Like, he knew what was happening, all that stuff. I'm so happy how everything turned out because, dude, like, I know I had every right to be angry with him. But because I walked in a way that was obedient to God and it was like, no, talk to him like a person that you care about and see if you guys could like kindle a relationship. Because the Bible doesn't say to be a peacekeeper. A peacekeeper is somebody who's like, I'm going to keep the peace. The Bible describes a good Christian man to be a peacemaker.
Way different.
And that's hard, especially with family members, especially with people that have hurt you multiple times. But this guy, I have no relationships with. Like, I don't have anything besides like an irritated moment. And when I got to meet him and have a good relationship with him, and I made a friend out of that, it just reminded me like, bro, everybody has something in their life or a perspective. And you can't be arrogant to think that your perspective is greater than their perspective because he truly didn't think in his heart that he was doing anything that was so appalling or like so disrespectful. And when I got to sit there and become friends with him, it really made me so comfortable because the industry is very tricky. It's very, in any industry, it could be a workplace, it could be a school place. When you find somebody that you bump heads with, it takes the energy, like a good energy out of it, right? And like, for example, there was a few clubs I didn't want to go to because I was scared if I bump into him. There was a lot
You
of
said
people.
this on the podcast, and he was like, "What?
Yeah,
what
there
are
was
you
a-
talking about?"
There was a lot
Comedy
of people
clubs?
that like said yes to the show. I'm not going to mention the comics. There's a lot of comics that were like, yeah, I want to be on the show. And then they pulled out because of the Bobby thing. And so it just, I had a lot of weird energy in that. After I walked away from that, I was like, dude, like, that should always be my go-to. Like, if I have a problem with somebody, I should really, really chase the fact of trying to make peace instead of just keep it. Because then just keeping it is like, well, I'll keep it if you understand my point of view and my structure.
It's
and my
one-sided.
life. But if I just take a second and be like, okay, well, you know what? He doesn't know how I was raised. He doesn't know anything about me. Let me put me aside for a second and let me understand him. And when I got to understand him, it humbled me and I learned a lot about how to understand humans and stuff. So it was just such a beautiful takeaway. I got a great episode and I got a great friend out of it. So Bobby, I can't wait to have you back, man. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I hope that prayer did work. We were texting that he did meet a girl.
Yeah.
Hopefully that lasted.
You gotta like check back in on that.
I know, but you know, it's cool, bro. Like, it really is cool being where I always wanted to be with no like drama. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want drama. Like, I'm not in it for drama. I don't like drama. I get super uncomfortable if I upset somebody.
You
Like, even the
can't do-
dude that was sitting in the stranger yelling at me. Like, I felt bad for that guy. Like, I don't like.
You're also the
having
kind
problems
of
with
person that
people.
when there's conflict or when something sticks out among everything else, you can't move on.
No.
We will be about to shoot something, and then you'll get a text or something, and I can tell it's like, oh, there's something to deal with. You will not raise your eyes from that screen until whatever it is resolved. You can't move on. You cannot move on.
I feel like my heart beats differently. Like,
Yeah.
if there's conflict and I know I could like fix this,
But
or
you're
like
also-
like
you're-
yeah, go ahead.
You're very blessed because you're extremely good at resolving conflict.
That's why I feel
You're
like I
very
can't
blessed.
get away from it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's my duty. I think that God gave me a tongue to speak to many
Yeah.
hearts and talk to people. So like when there is conflict between like us, like that I shouldn't have like I should do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm not, then I'm wasting the gifts that God gave me. If He's giving me a gift of tongue, like where I could speak to a podcast or on stage, but then I'm gonna put that talent away when there's an enemy, that doesn't make sense. God's like, this is where you should highlight this and use this.
1,000,000%. And I think that's what's like so beautiful about that episode of Bobby Lee is that so many, and I've seen a lot of comments too about it. So many men were able to see like, wow, the art of conversation. I think that like men are not used to being so open with like communicating how they feel and resolving things between one another. It's kind of either like a, yeah, I don't like that guy, or like, okay, yeah, fine, we're good.
Let
Let's
alone on a
move
public
on.
platform with millions of people
Right.
watching, where it's like you have to stand on your business, but at the same time, if you only stand on your business, then you're actually hearing the other person.
Yeah, 100%. And so you were able to show like, hey, if one of us can humble ourselves to come to the other, because I think in conflict, you're always waiting for the other person to humble themselves and come to you.
Yeah.
And so who's going to make the move? And if you just decide whether you are right or whether you are wrong in that situation, just humble yourself and come to that person so your conflict can resolve faster and better. And then you'll have a better conversation.
So this chapter of my life was, I got bullied growing up, and I told myself when I'm a man, I'm gonna stand in my business, and I'm not bowing. You're gonna bow to me. And this is like this prideful, like I'm my own king now. I don't answer to anybody. Especially leaving a different show where I wasn't the lead, and like now I'm overcompensating that type of energy. And then I had to reel myself back and be like, well, let me go back to my Bible. And when I read the Bible, God Himself came down to us. Filthy humans. So when I'm going to God and be like, well, what's up with this? God's like, well, then go.
Yeah.
Go and talk to Him. What are you doing? Go and talk to Him. And it's so funny how I built, and this is the most important that I hope people hear this. What I imagined, the darkness of it. Are you joking right now? Are you joking? I'm trying to hey,
Dude.
hey, I'm having a moment here, buddy.
Just give us 5 seconds, Leo.
The darkness, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Leo.
The darkness that I imagined, him saying something, us getting to a physical altercation, all of the imaginary thoughts that I had were not there. Guess what? This guy really wanted to make peace too.
Yeah.
And this guy really wanted to hang out. So it's cool, man. Like I've learned that I got to stop daydreaming about what's going to happen and just put my shoes on and go see what happens.
Find out.
Because that is what is my biggest problem. I really do. I actually was writing this down. there's a lot of like, actually, you know what, the next episode, I kind of want to do a boys only episode too, just to talk about the things that I've been reflecting and I learned from in a spiritual realm. Because there's just so much stuff that I want to talk about. But I'll add one of them because it has to do with this. The Bible talks about what your eyes see you become. And remember, when we're daydreaming, we're looking at things. So when I'm daydreaming about fighting somebody, if I'm daydreaming about arguing with somebody, I'm literally becoming that. So you got to be careful what you're daydreaming, because you become what you're daydreaming. I daydreamed about being an entertainer. That helped me become an entertainer. I daydreamed about performing. That helped me get comfortable on stage. Like whatever you're dreaming about and your eyes are like looking at that projector, you're walking towards.
And when your mind just wanders, you
Yes.
know, and unconsciously you just arrive somewhere and it's like, well, I've been thinking about that for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Out of nowhere.
It took me 31 years to get a rein on this, because you cannot let your thoughts dictate your actions. You have to have your actions dictate your thoughts. You really have to put into motion what you want. I used to, like, when I had problems with somebody, I'd be like, if I see him, I'm gonna, and then in my mind would just and then in my heart I'd be like, I wouldn't want to act like that's terrible. But it's always the hero story, right? You're gonna disrespect me, circle people watching.
when I see him.
Yeah. It's,
And then you're searching for it in real life.
but that actually just causes more problems, and
Yeah.
it keeps, you're following that energy and you're just going that. But if I close my eyes and I took me out of it, right? The hero, when people look at me, they're going to be like, wow, what a man. If I just take myself out and I just go, how does that person see me? Oh, that's how they see me. I get why they would see me that way. Let me show them who I really am. Let me go into their dark thoughts and lighten it up and be a servant. Like, hey, Bobby, or hey, somebody, like, I didn't mean to do that. Or I know you did that. I know you didn't mean it. I give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm here. I think what happened is I write people off because of what other people did to me. I don't give the person that's in front of me a chance. And that's not fair, bro. That's like if you're going into a relationship, like how would it be fair if I went into my relationship with Belle and I treated her like the ex that treated me a certain way? That's disrespectful. She didn't deserve that. But I do that with human beings. Like the other day, like, I had this guy, I had a lot of people working on the house. Some people would come with good energy. Some people came with bad energy. There was a guy that I called his company. I said, hey, I don't like this guy's, he was very disrespectful, very demeaning, very like blah, blah, blah. Like, I would appreciate not to work with this guy anymore. And they're like, no worries, they sent me a new guy. That energy followed me outside. There was a pool guy coming, and he was like very short with me and very like he wasn't answering my questions, or he was answering like I was a burden. And I'm like, bro, I'm paying a service here. I need to learn what I'm doing here. So I was about to be like, hey, dude, pack your shit and get the fuck out of my house. Like, I was literally just at my absolute wit end because I was really hot in the Arizona heat. And I wiped my sweat, and in my heart, I was like, I don't give a shit, bro. It's too hot. And I was about to tell this guy to piss off. And then I was like, wait a second, it's hot. And this guy only works outside. This guy might be 8 times harder on him than me right now. So I just looked at him and I took a deep breath and I go, hey, bro, it's really hot outside. Before you start doing all this, can I go grab you like a Gatorade or a water or something? And his demeanor completely changed. He was just like, no, I have my own water, man, but thank you so much for that. And I realized in that moment, this guy probably goes around these neighborhoods with people that treat him disrespectfully and talk to him the way that I was just about to talk to him, not caring. You're providing a service. I need this done. But I didn't treat him like a human being. I treated him like an exchange. I'm paying you to get this done, so I don't need your attitude right now. Like, I don't need this. But I was like, you know what? Just because he has attitude doesn't mean I have to like tell him to leave or stuff like that. Let me just try to work with him because he might be having issues at home. And maybe God put him in my home because he knows I'm a human that could show him grace. So I took a deep breath and I said that. And then, dude, I sat out there for an hour with this guy, got to know him, hang out with him. And I was like, dude, I figured it out. All the people that I had an issue with, it wasn't because of them. It was because of me. God gave me the ability to see above it. I did see above it. But I decided myself, nah, screw this guy. Get him out of here. I'm paying you money. I don't got to deal with your energy right now, bro. I'm too tired right now. But then God's like, dude, you're blessed. In a country that's not doing well, you're doing very well. People are struggling right now. You don't feel that struggle. That's why you don't feel that tension. So why are you going to punish another man that feels that tension? You should rise above it, put your hand out, and help the people that feel that tension. So I've just been on this journey of like everything that's bothering me. I'm like, dude, there's a reason why it's bothering me. And that reason has to do with me. Even though I don't care what they're doing or what they're supplying, I could find a way to go and rise above it. So that's been one of,
Proud of you, man.
Because
that's Jessica, by the way. Shout out to Jay. She's
Wow,
been
let's
gone.
go.
Opening up the
JJ.
cigar lounge, which by the way, it opened. And thank you guys for everybody who showed up. Man, there's so much stuff that happened
Yeah.
since we've been gone.
I know.
We
Life has
opened up
been
the cigar
amazing to
lounge.
us.
Yeah, God has been very good, man. God has been
Very
very
blessed.
good. And also, I just want to let you guys know, I hope it doesn't seem like I'm coming out here like just bragging. It does feel like that sometimes. But I really do, like I mean this when I say this. There's a lot of things that I don't share. There's a lot of things that I do share. And the successful things that I share, I want you to know with all of my heart, everything that I have comes from Jesus Christ. From this house to this relationship to meeting Reed to even having a sister like Jessica. I invite the Lord in and I remove my pride. I get rid of me. I fill me up more with him. And all that surrounds me that looks like my fruit is all supplied by him. I don't care what workplace you're in, what school you're in, what family you're in. If you invite the Lord in, you'll feel the fruit of heaven. And it's just, you're going to want to pass it to everybody. And I would love to sit here and say that all of these accomplishments and work has been because of my work. None of it, not even 1% of it is because of my work. It is all because I praise God. I give him the glory. And because of that, I shine him. And so he could fill me up more with him. And then I could supply more with my neighbors around me. That is why I have what I have, not because of me. It is all because of him. And I'm telling you that because you yourself could be the same way, where you could be like, wow, this is all because of God. Now, mind you, it doesn't have to be with money because all of this happened before I had money. I had this heart before I had money. I had this before I had fame. It is literally something you cannot buy, and it's God's favor. You cannot buy God's favor. You could buy the devil's favor, but you cannot buy God's favor. And that is above all. We're in a brand new home. I love this woman with all my heart, and that is one of my closest friends. All of this, I'd put it in a box and ship it back to God. If he said, would you rather have 5 minutes of a conversation with me or all of this stuff? And I'm telling you, the conversations that we have is so much greater. So don't look at people around you and be jealous, because I was in an industry where I would look around and everybody around me was doing so well. And it can get very slippery when you start looking at other people and being like, well, why don't I have that? Or why is they doing this? And don't let that slip into your heart. Be very grateful for where you're at. And if you haven't got to where you are in here, work hard, but most importantly, put God first. And he'll direct your feet, your hands, your eyes, your ears, your mind to achieve whatever you think you need to achieve. I promise you, dude. I promise. I get very uncomfortable talking about this stuff, but I want you to know where the source of it is. It's not me. It's not them. It's none of us.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So there's this poet from like back in the, he was like born in like 1207. Like he was from Iran.
I feel like you're too far away to have
I'll
a
put
monologue.
subtitles and stuff. Sure.
Okay, so
Why don't we just grab you-
based off what you just
Here.
said,
Yeah.
which really hit me differently because literally 2 days ago, I took this screenshot and like it just hit, and it literally says, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. Dude, it
Whoa.
just fits so well with what you were saying. It really is, it's our perception on situations. Once we change our perception
Yep.
and our actions, everything changes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I thank you for reading that. That's deep. Next week, God willing, we could do another episode where I could just debrief on just spiritual things that I'm like journaling and I'm learning, because there's so much. There's been so much that I've been like absorbing. There's a fulfillment when a man rolls up his sleeves and gets to work. When,
and it's real attractive for the ladies.
yeah. Well, but
No, but I think it is, because I think, like, and I've always told you this before, like, I would just tell you, it was like, oh, I love watching you business meetings because you know how to, like, control the room and have good conversations and be assertive, but yet be kind at the same time. And I always found that really attractive. And I think that it's beautiful seeing you do that in all aspects of your life and taking charge of conversations with people. And I just think that there's nothing more attractive than seeing a man being able to, like, humble himself, to go to the other person, to resolve things and to make things happen, because that makes you more manly. You know what I mean? And I think you've always done that. You're somebody who's always been really good at having those hard conversations. Like George is really good at having those, like saying something to somebody that would be really hard to tell them, but he finds a way to tell them and then without hurting their feelings. It's a hard thing to do, and he's really good at doing it. And so then you being able to resolve all other things in order to make peace in all areas, I think is just really beautiful. And as a lady, it's really great. So guys, it's a good...
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you so
Nice.
much. I think that part where you go up to somebody you love and tell them that hard thing is because you're so scared of them thinking that you hate them or like you're trying to be rude or disrespectful. And I think that's why being honest and vulnerable about yourself. Like if people see, like you guys watch how every day I'm like, oh, I got to fix this about myself, or oh, I don't like the way this. Or if I might be arrogant in the moment and do something stupid, but my loved ones will watch me sooner or later resolve that arrogance. And because I hold myself at a high level of like, no, I'm not the greatest man in the world, and I have to serve others, and I love God with all my heart. When I bring these principles to fruition, then when I bring something to them, they don't take it personally because they're like, well, no, he works on himself. I see how he really reviews on himself. So I think that going back to fixing your problems, like if you have a relationship with your aunt or your mom or your dad or your loved ones, or I promise you, if you feel like you've just been consistently like, bro, it's sad, but man, dude, I don't know what happened to me. I became a victim. I became such a victim. Like me. Why don't they see this of me? Me. And then when I got to read Jesus, and I know that I bring up Jesus a lot, but when I read Jesus, who was disrespected, defiled, nailed on the cross, and he didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Even the enemy said he didn't do anything. But he never was like, why me? Why would you guys do this to me? He was always worried about them. He's like, forgive them, they don't know. And all the times that I was stupid is because I didn't know. And now that I know, I got to work on that. So just like and it's so much fun, dude. It's like a game. Like you'll find something about yourself and just start working on it. And every day you'll either have a better night's sleep or a better day, because I think deep down, every man knows that they're kind of the problem. I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. I really do. I think deep down, you know.
Finally! No,
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Before we get into the Russell brand and the Barbara O'Neill thing, I want to talk about your YouTube. I know you have some stuff like...
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, just talking about reflecting and constantly growing. One thing is, before I moved to LA, before I started working for you, it was only a week into living in LA that I got a job working for you.
Wow. That's so crazy.
Crazy, man.
Bro,
in the middle of COVID, too.
Dude.
We're going to tell that story for the rest of... We're going to be on stage just telling that story forever. Man.
Like a TED Talk?
Yeah.
I love it.
But I had a moment this year where... And it's not even that we work a lot, but we have so much time off, and I'm like, why am I not making more use of my time, and why am I not having that same sense of purpose that I used to? And it was back when I was in Portland, or even since my parents got me a camera when I was 16 years old, I was always thinking of a video. I was always thinking of whether it's a short concept of me just like, oh, my friend's a painter, I want to make a little documentary on him, or it's a bigger thing with a script and stuff. I kind of lost that, and so for that reason, I'm creating a YouTube channel, and it's not to be a YouTuber by any means. Ooh. I don't want to be a YouTuber. Imagine being a YouTuber. No, I'm kidding. I just want a new portfolio, a new place to show myself. Yeah. Because I have Instagram, and there's TikTok and this stuff, and I've tried making like cool reels and stuff, but the vertical content, it just doesn't feel like me.
Yeah.
You're cinematic.
Yeah, I want to make movies.
Yeah.
And Instagram, TikTok is not movies. It's a place to get people to watch your movies, but it ain't movies.
Yeah.
And I want to make movies one day. And so I think creating a YouTube channel and just posting whatever I want. Like I'm going to go to Tokyo with my girlfriend in September. So I'd love to make like a cinematic travel video for that. Yeah. I'm posting one today, the day this episode goes up. And it's just like a Nike spec ad. Just of like, if I was going to do like a Nike commercial, what would one concept of it be like? And then I'm working on some short narrative scripts.
I find that really funny, by the way.
Why?
Because he was just like, come on, dude, I just got to do it, bro. Like, I just got to get out there and do it, bro. What should I do?
It's called Stop Waiting. That's the concept of it. It's called Stop Waiting.
I pray that it gets picked up. Like
Thank you.
I pray
Thank
that
you.
like everybody's like, dude, this is so
If
sick
it
that
gets
Nike
picked
looks
up,
at
I'll
it.
put a little more effort into it.
Yeah.
I'll put it'll be even better.
Yeah,
So
awesome. With a budget.
So Nike. No.
With a budget. Zero budget.
Yeah,
Nike.
no, just with Kira, my girlfriend, helped with a couple shots, but it was literally just me on my days off with my camera, like, what could I do for that? And just finding, it's chasing that childhood wonder and like not having parameters on things of like, oh, I have the day off. This video could be whatever I want it to be.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be a YouTuber.
You're going back to the passion.
Yes,
instead of
I'm
like
going back
purpose.
to my passion
Like,
because
yeah.
I want to hopefully next year do a short film with a big budget and maybe have Shawna in it or something, get some actors.
Can we talk about your short film or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I knew you were gonna do like really, really good.
Really?
Yeah, when you took the feedback.
That's a story right there. Here, I'll start it.
Go.
When last year, for the last maybe 4 years, 5 years, the next step in my career has been to do a narrative short film because I want to make movies. So writing a script, doing characters, it's not documentary, it's like creating a world and creating characters that live in it and making everything feel real and believable and how do I want to show the world. So I created this little short love story called Stardust. And I got Shawna to be in it, I got Simi to be in it, and another gentleman was going to be in it, but he actually got COVID last minute. I found out when we were coming back from Romania. So George was in it last minute. I kind of threw him in. It was my first time directing actors in my entire life. And it was so scary. We shot it all in like 2 days, basically just one day. And I've always been very introverted. And when people look at me for guidance, I get a little anxious. And it probably has to do with being a single child and stuff like that. But when people looked at me, I was like, oh no, actually, I think I can do this.
And you were great at directing and what you wanted.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And it took me so long to do it because I was afraid of that step of people looking at me and me knowing that I have to give an answer. And I didn't think I'd be good at that. But I found out on that day that I could do this. And then I edited it for 5 months, way longer than I should have. But I got it done. And then I brought it and George said, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, bro. You should never do this another day in your life. Give up. You're actually fired, bro.
Please.
I'll bring you on one more Bellas and Boy Only podcast, but that's it. And that's where we are right now. So it's been real, guys.
And it's been fun.
That's it.
No, Reed is he's a savant, bro. He's a genius. Like you can tell by the way he does things. When I saw it, I was like, this is his getting the wheels greased.
Yeah,
And
and that's what that was another thing is I was working on multiple scripts and this short love story I wrote and I was like, that's not quite it. And I kept writing other things, but then I was like, wait, I could be writing things for another 6 months to a year because my writing is something I'm still working on. So I was like, I'll just do this as a practice run. But then that practice thing, I started getting really excited about it and then I was like, no, this is the thing.
Well, no, he was just excited and he got it done. And when he presented it to me, I looked at it and I said, this is good, but it's not Reed. It's good. If anybody else brought me up this, I was like, oh, that's nice. But we've worked so hard and we've gotten into the craziest rooms. I think the greatest thing that I had mentors in like all areas of my life, and it was always the cutthroat mentors that really made me a lot better.
I've never had that before either.
If I didn't have somebody look at me and say, nah, this ain't you.
It was one of the most freeing days of my life when you told me that.
I looked at Reed and I was like, hey, you know what? I think you could do a lot better. I don't think
You
you
paused
should
it at the very end and you said, Reed, do you want me to be honest? And you gave me an option. You gave me an option. And I said, yes.
Oh yeah, I said, do you want me to be? You want me to be honest?
Do you
or
want to know how I really feel? And I could have said no. You didn't give me unwarranted feedback.
But
I
you want
said
the
yes.
growth.
And within 2 seconds, I could tell by your tone. I was like, this ain't it. And it wasn't the worst thing in the world. I'm very proud of it.
No.
It just lost it just wasn't quite to what I can do. And through editing it for 6 months, being so involved in it, I saw it and I would watch it back and there'd be kind of awkward writing moments, but I was like, no, this is good because I haven't done this before. And then when you told me that this ain't it, tears came to my eye and I breathed out and I was like, I convinced myself that this was it. And the fact that you're telling me it wasn't, I drove home that day. We talked for like 45 minutes to an hour and there was like tears. Like it was really hard. That was a hard fucking day.
Of course.
But when I was driving home, bro, I was speeding and I called my girl and I said, I'm taking you out tonight. This is one of the best days of my life. Because I just found out that I can be so much more than I convinced myself I could be.
Wow.
It was an amazing feeling. It was horrible. But I was like, You were talking, and I was like, oh, this is one of those moments where I could by any means storm out of this room right now because somebody's telling me something that I don't want to hear. Or I could put my big boy pants on and say, okay, I need to gather as much data as I can right now, and I will be so much better for it.
And you did that, and you did a really good job at doing that because not a lot of people can take criticism and then take it and then see it for what it really is. You know what I mean? Not take it personally and then mix all the bad with the good. And the thing is that this is the truth of it. Like, genuinely, Reed's eye, his cinematic eye and directing eye is insane. Like, he can make anything look so beautiful. And if you were to go back and look at something like when vlogging days and like they would like shoot ads, like these ads literally look like professional commercials, or we would do these tidbits like of like these little like, remember like in the morning, like
we did the intro to the vlog.
Yeah, the intros, like
George's voiceover.
Like Reed's eye for storytelling and the way that he can capture things is incredible. He is going to be a beautiful and successful filmmaker. But I think in the beginning, it's hard being everything, being the writer, being the director, being the shooter, being the editor. And I think it was just, at the end of the day, it was just writing, right?
Yeah,
and you're
it was a suit that you never really put on.
The most important part of this is we've been working together for 3 years and we're making vlogs, we're doing all this content, and I am so blessed and I love it so much. But this thing that I wrote, that I shot, this is what I want to do. This is me.
Yeah.
You're not just judging a thing I made, you're judging this thing that I want to do for the rest of my life. If I edit a vlog and you tell me this is not it, I'm like, okay, cool, what is it? Let's do it. That doesn't affect me as much because this isn't what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But this short film that I just like have been at my desk working on nonstop, it's like now you're judging my purpose.
Yes.
And that's so much harder.
But that's why nobody wants to talk about that.
And that's
because
why
they
it should
know
be talked
that
about.
it's like, oh, he's been working on this. It means a lot to him. He spent weeks on this.
Yeah.
And we need people like that. We need people that
you
are
need that
real.
person.
Hey, I don't need to hear you whining. I need you to hear you like get to the next level. If it wouldn't be for like moments like that, I would nowhere be near where I'm at. I wouldn't be able to take criticism. Now I'm addicted to criticism. People get super uncomfortable with giving me criticism. I love criticism. If I walk away from something and I didn't get at least 10 things to change, then I feel like, nah, something's up here. Something's up here. I need at least 10 things to change.
You're kind of a psycho.
Has to be.
You're amazing.
I love you guys.
I love you, man. But follow my YouTube channel. No.
Do you have your channel out yet?
Yeah, it's coming out the day we're posting this video. And
What's
my
it called?
my Nike spec ad will be up. But
How
then
come we never got to see it yet?
I have it. I'll show it to you.
Should it be its own like premiere thing so people could go look at it? I feel like that's probably better when.
Yeah.
What's your YouTube channel called?
Reed Calder.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, next thing I'm working on is another narrative short film, but it's 2 to 3 minutes, just like all visual storytelling. I just want to make things again, man.
Yeah.
I just want to be excited to make things. And I also I want to make something, and then my next thing, I want it to be completely different. I love, like, I want to do commercials. I want to do short films. I want to do fashion videos.
Bro, you should do paid jobs. I think you would enjoy it more and you get like money from it. I know that sounds stupid.
I would love that.
But you should put you should tell there's probably so many people that are watching that would love to work with you on something.
They probably have my DMs are open. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Not a DM, bro. Put an email out or something.
Yeah.
You have an email?
ReedCalderFilm@gmail.com.
Put in the description. If you guys have a project that you're like, oh, I need to hire somebody and I need to hire somebody good.
Yeah.
That's not cheap. Sorry.
I would never say yes to something that I wouldn't put 100% of my effort into.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, like, I know that sounds stupid, but if you he has a production, my production will all the equipment will be like taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but yeah, thanks for letting me platform that. And that's been my year so far.
I love that.
A lot of introspection, and just,
dude,
you
we're
can get
only
distracted.
6 months into this year.
Yeah.
That is,
What?
Wait, I need to actually, we're 8 months in.
Yeah, we're 8 months.
Oh my
We're not doing too good,
gosh.
actually.
We're not doing good.
That's
We're
great.
behind schedule.
Shut up, you guys.
We've ended podcasts better.
Yeah, we'll
this
see you next
episode
week.
was really good. It's just the landing. I blame Reed.
Dude, I feel like this is the first time I've ever been like, wow, I added to that.
Really?
Yeah. Usually I'm just like eating
What's the
popcorn
takeaway?
and just,
The takeaway is no more of that. See, I have to be hard. I'm just kidding.
Shut up. That was beautiful, Reed. Thank you.
I think that this episode was amazing, and I can't wait to do more. I love these episodes more than guest episodes.
Yeah.
although we have some crazy guests lined up that you guys are going to be ecstatic about. I already know. I can already read it. No way, dude, I can't even believe it. I love reading those comments.
Somebody's probably guessing it in the comment section right now.
If they guess it, I'll give them literally $1,000. There's no way. There's no way. Actually, never mind. I take that back. They always guess it. Never
But
mind.
the
Yeah,
balance
every
is
time.
nice. The balance is nice going from like talking to guests, getting to know about them. The experience comes with it. Certainly when we get to go places and like go to their state or city. And then also coming back and being able to like talk about what we want to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know? It's nice.
I kind of want to run back one more Boys and Bells just to like,
I'd love
there's
to.
so much to unpack. Or we might get into this interview. We have a few things that we have, but
Guess we have to
Here's the
choose
thing.
this week.
They'll see it, whatever it turns into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, love you guys so much. Thank you again for everybody who's bought a ticket to the show. That made that like I can't tell you, man. Like when I got on, I might even just release the clip of me coming out on stage because like I just watched it back so many times and I was just so blown away by it that it's just like it's a dream and it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you guys like watching, sharing it.
We love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I love you guys so much.
I love you guys.
I'll see you guys next Thursday.
Yep. And until then.
What are you doing?
What?
We're doing something. Nice. That's good.
You're leaving. You're hooked up.